Kowloon was just an ordinary nerd.
This is gonna hurt.
Until the day she showed up.
So, what you reading?
The U.S. military admitted UAPs exist and reformed their Space Force.
Wait, what?
Now, if they can survive all the aliens, evil spirits, and killer cryptids,
I don't think I can save you.
You barely even tried to!
they might end up more than just friends.
You guys were kissing! You think I go around kissing nerds like him?
Yeah, and I'll never kiss a stupid girl like her.
When nothing else makes sense,
Watch out!
there's always room for romance.
Fire up those powers!
Get ready to go all out. Dawn to Dawn premieres next Saturday at 12:30 a.m. Love is strange. Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
Are you seriously convinced you're that much stronger than I am?
I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty sure.
Care to test that theory?
On the next all-new episode of Dragon Ball Daima.
Goku, push Glorio to his limit! I need to know how strong he really is!
This should do the trick.
Time to end this.
Dragon Ball Daima. Next Saturday at midnight. Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
Hello, our dear listeners. This is our podcast, Toonami Therapy. I'm Michael.
Yo, hello, I'm Tommy.
And here we are recording on July 17th of 2025 after another week when Toonami just put on a bunch of marathon stuff, which actually worked out great for our schedule. So no actual complaints this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just got our stuff that to talk about that wasn't on Toonami, the series we have been watching and covers. But before that, we have some news, some really interesting and exciting news. Toei Animation has started uploading full episodes of Boba Bobo to YouTube. Yeah! Which I mentioned both because I really liked the show and also because we actually covered it for a while. Although you kind of lost interest after a while, so we dropped it. But if anyone listening was actually listening back then and remembers those and wants to check it out, it's on YouTube. Well, actually, they're like putting up 2 episodes a week. So they've really got I think 10 or something right now. And it'll be a while before they get all of them. But they are up there. On the downside, you haven't gotten into the better stuff. I think the series got a lot better around episode 17 when the Pomade Ring arc started. But I still like the earlier stuff, even if I thought it was a little repetitive. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. On YouTube, officially free. I think it's only the dub. I don't think they have a subtitled version, but hey, the dub's great. So go crazy with that. So yeah, Bobo is finally available on a streaming service legally. You don't have to go and buy the Blu-ray or DVD for it. All right. So we also do have some news regarding Toonami. They have announced, so next week we're just getting 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Daima. The week after that, they announced it, and I suddenly realized I can't remember the actual order of the series. It's starting out with
Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's first. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Dragon Ball Daima, and then Dawn to Dawn. Which will be the second series on it. So yeah, that's the new series they've announced. Do you know anything about it?
Nope, not a thing.
I'm actually kind of surprised. Well, have you heard of it before?
Not really. I mean, I think I've heard the name, but I didn't know anything about it.
Okay. Because this is actually a pretty notable get for them. It's a pretty popular series, I think. Although what bugs the heck out of me is that so Dawn to Dawn, it's an anime, it's based on a manga. The manga the official manga release spells it as one word, Dan, Da, Dan, no spaces. The anime spells it with spaces, Dawn, space, Da, space, Dawn, which makes things confusing if you're searching for it. Like you go to like a streaming service, because it's on like all the big ones. It's on Netflix, it's on Hulu, it's on Crunchyroll, and you put in Dawn to Dawn, no spaces. Well, for at least on Crunchyroll, it tells you, nope, we don't have that show. And then you go over to say like Manga Plus or whatever, where the manga is, and you put it in as 3 words, and it tells you no searches found. Why do they why are they doing it differently? I don't get it. This is like the Blue Lock situation again, where one spells it as 1 word and another spells it as 2 words, and it messes up the searching when you try to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You did tell me that you didn't want me to actually tell you anything about the series in order to go in blind. So, all right. But I'm sure you'll actually find out a bunch when they inevitably advertise it during Toonami.
Next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's like I said, it's kind of notable, but at the same time, it's actually not that surprising when I think about it, because this usually anime that goes put on a streaming service, they're exclusive. Like it's just on, just on Crunchyroll, just on Netflix, just on Hulu, just on High Dive. But this was on like multiple different ones. So the reason people license them exclusively is because streaming service is going to give you a lot more money if it's an exclusive license. But so either they decided that they figured that they would get more money as a whole if they were to license out non-exclusive to multiple places, or they just wanted to try to put it in as many places as much for publicity. So when it's clearly like they don't care about exclusivity or whatever, it's not actually that big a surprise that this would end up on Toonami as well. But yeah, so they've got that. We'll see how it is. I read some of the manga. I won't even spoil what I thought of it. So because you again asked me not to. If you hey listeners, blame my co-host for the fact you don't know my thoughts yet. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, I was actually a little surprised you hadn't really, because like I mentioned, it's kind of popular. It's funny. I was actually going to I thought it might be funny sometime to just go through the most read stuff on Manga Plus just to see which ones you've heard of, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, like half of the stuff is things we've actually watched on this podcast. We've got do you want me to just go through the top ones? Number 1, One Piece, we've seen that. Number 2, Boruto, seen that. Number 3, Chainsaw Man, seen that. Number 4, Dawn to Dawn, we will see it. Number 5, Spy Family, seen that. Number 6, actually, this is one called Kaitagami, which you have probably never heard of. It's only there because it's a new series, and sometimes new series get a really high ranking because, everyone checks out the first chapter. 7, Sakamoto Days. Have you actually heard of that one?
I mean, I've heard the name. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, as long as it's just a name. 8, Kagurabachi.
Is that the Bocce the Rock thing?
No, completely different series.
Okay, yeah, I don't know it.
Okay, yeah, that one doesn't have an anime yet. Number 9 is Ichi the Witch, another one without an anime. I assume you haven't heard of that one?
No.
Okay, well, next 2 ones I'll just say Centuria, no anime. Heard of that?
Nope.
Yeah. Actually, number 11. This one has an anime. Blue Box. Heard of that one?
Nope.
Okay, you need to read more manga. Is the clear answer here? Okay, I do think it's a little funny to look at these list of ones and realize how many of the ones either were on Toonami or that I kind of dragged you into watching for the podcast. Okay. So anyway, we got through all of that. I think that's all of the series that we've got. That's all the introductory information we have. So which we might as well spend some time on because we don't have as much stuff to talk. So this will probably be a kind of shorter episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got Yu Yu Hakusho episode 63 for this one. All right, so let's see. So Toguro is annoyed that Yusuke's, not strong enough to really fight him. So, right. So then Genkai, remember who died, somehow just takes control of Pooh, like the little animal he had, and just goes over to Toguro and says, yeah, if you want to make Yusuke strong, just kill one of his friends. And Yusuke's like, what? Actually, it's and Genkai just tells him, well, I got to do something to make it so that you'll win. It's your fault for not being strong enough. So Toguro ends up killing Kuwabara. And then Yusuke, did he actually scream his way into a power-up as a result? I can't remember if he actually screamed as a result. Either way, though, Yusuke at least seems like he's gotten the power boost from that. So I guess they'll fight some more for real. Yep, that was our episode.
Yep, not much really to say about it. Although, does this mean we have to go through an entire adventure of getting Kuwabara brought back to life?
Is that a rhetorical question, or do you want the answer?
No, give me the answer.
Oh, you want to know? No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't have to go through like some big arc to bring him back or anything.
Okay. I was like wondering if we have to get his body so it doesn't burn up in a fire and
No.
all that stuff. All that stuff, So
Yeah.
what are they going to do? They're just going to whisk him back at the end, Dragon Ball style. That's probably what's going to happen, I assume.
Again, are you asking me to give the answer, or is this rhetorical? I just need to know.
It's a rhetorical question.
Okay, that was rhetorical.
I figure that's what they're going to do, but yeah, these shonen series are usually really predictable like that, but yeah, we'll see.
I will say one thing. It's kind of an almost blink and you'll miss it, but I thought it was actually a really funny joke. So when Toguro's using like his power, he's causing all of the people around the whole place to die if they're not strong enough. And so, as we mentioned before, Pooh's there to protect the girls. Although after he leaves, after Genkai takes control of him, they have Botan and oh, golly, I can't. For some reason, I'm blanking on her name. The green-haired girl, was it Kuina? Was that it?
Yukina.
Yukina, that was it. Okay, Yukina, that to protect them, and anyway, the host, whose name I always forget, Kodo, I think that's her name.
Yeah,
the announcer.
There's Kodo and Jury.
Yeah, I can remember Jury. For some reason, Kodo is harder for me to remember. But I did like the part where, so she's like worried about being killed by all that stuff, but then the guy Yusuke fought in the first round, he shows up and uses this thing to protect her, and then Ogre is just left standing there outside of it awkwardly, and he's like, he's literally looking like he's thinking, what? So that was like a really short thing, but I thought that was pretty funny. All right. Okay, so I don't have anything else to say about that. So we got 2B Hero X episode 7. So in our previous episode, we had a character apparently die, and it looks like he actually did die. So we get that. Our main character, Chang, yeah, that's his name. Remember how he's considered the new E-Soul, and there's the other one? Well, and it was actually a little confusing to me exactly why he did what his motivation, but he decides to challenge the original one to a big fight, and then they end up the old Isol didn't want to, but then his trust value starts dropping, so he agrees to it. And yeah, then they end up fighting. They the new Isol manages to beat him, and then and basically then gets all the guys' trust. He's now super powerful because of all the trust abilities and all that stuff. And then it turns out that the restaurant guy was actually evil and was behind everything. He was the one who hired those guys to kidnap the kid. He was the one who got them to kill that other guy, and then just to keep him quiet, he just decides to submerge them in cement to kill them. And now he's the manager guy for the new Isol, and he did all this because I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe we'll find out in a later episode. And thus we end what I think is the Isol arc, which goes into the first arc, I guess, in that we still don't know why Isol showed up and decided to shoot Moon. We just know his backstory. So, this episode is kind of a jumble, I feel. I mean, I like some parts of it. I did really like their strategy on how they made the old Isol, because their plan was they needed to have him do this one attack on them to be able to get through his defense. And the plan was basically just to make it so that all the people watching it would want him to do that attack. So you would have to, or else his trust level would lower. And so that works, and that's how they're able to win. But and yeah, that's like I said, that's the end of this one. I think this second arc of the series was a pretty big step down from the first one, so I'm kind of hoping the next is more interesting.
Yeah, very big step down, and it was kind of boring. And the problem for me is that you had a perfectly good storyline going on, and then you just decided, okay, we're just going to drop that now for something completely different. And I guess it technically connects because he saw Moon, but I think it'll be really cheap if that's how Moon died. But in any case, this episode had me bored to tears. So maybe not tears, but definitely bored. And I don't know. It just felt like the same thing that we've already seen about, they gained the trust and blah, blah, blah. It's just not interesting.
Yeah, I do think it was a little, because the format of the series apparently is that we get like 3 to 4 episodes about these different heroes, each of which kind of at least somewhat connects to the previous one. And I assume the way this is all supposed to work, and the problem with watching this relatively into it is that it's not over. So I don't know exactly how it all goes in, but I think this is supposed to kind of be building stuff and setting up some sort of like tournament involving all these heroes. But for now, it's kind of like an anthology series almost, where we're like, okay, here's a story about this character. Here's a story about this different character. Next week, it'll be a story about a different character. And so far, the first one was pretty strong. I really liked that. The second one, I liked some parts of it, but it felt just kind of, I don't know the right way to say it. I mean, I realized when I was watching the big battle, I was like, well, this looks good. I just don't really care that much about it. The one part that I found interesting was their strategy for making the guy use that attack. That was actually cool. I liked that. But other than that, the fight wasn't that interesting to me. So, but the thing I guess about an anthology is, you get your ups and downs when you're getting like a different story each week, or in this case, each 3 weeks. So I got some hopes that the next one will be more interesting, but we'll see if the next one if the next one or two of them don't really get more back to the one quality of the first ones, we might be dropping this one midway through.
Yeah, I'm ready to drop it already, but we'll see. I'll give it another chance, see if it can improve. But yeah.
Oh, we should at least give it 3 more episodes for the next arc to see how that works out. Which ironically is also the exact same number of episodes we have left of this arc of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Hmm.
I think.
So we'll have some spots opening up here.
Well, we'll have some spots, some series where we'll have to think about whether we're going to stick with them or not, at least.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, we might have some spots opening depending on how we end up thinking about those. But for now, that's To Be Hero X. All right, moving on. Anne Shirley, episode 7. Well, Anne has her hair completely back to normal, so I guess I guess we must have done some kind of time skip to have all of that happen. So she they decide to basically she and the other girls decide to do this thing where she's supposed to, pretend to be dead and kind of be in this boat that will, the whole body down the river thing they were trying to reenact, as I correctly. Unfortunately for her, while she's in the boat, she discovers that there's actually a hole in it. And unfortunately, I have to say, look, Anne, I know you're 13, so you're kind of dumb probably, but surely you have the intelligence to know you can try to plug it with your shoe or something. But apparently she doesn't, so it ends up so to get out of it, because she can't swim apparently, basically has to jump off from it to cling to this pillar of this bridge. And fortunately for her, Gilbert just happens to be by in a boat and rescues her. And then he's like, hey, so you want to be friends now? And Anne is still angry about a relatively mild tease he said to her at least a year ago, and refuses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that didn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I mean, like I said,
Like if he had been doing that on a regular basis, I could understand. But this is all over one thing that happened one time. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, and you can say, okay, Anne's 13 years old and she's a drama queen anyway, but it still felt kind of weird. I mean, she even at least seems to think, that was kind of weird of me. So yeah, that was a little weird. But anyway, we have that happen, I suppose. Let's see. And then after after she does at least apparently feel some potential regret for not, forgiving him for the whole thing, we do then have wait, what? I'm sorry, I'm feeling dumb. Was the part where what was the plot about how their teacher was going to go to a different town but then she didn't? Was that in this episode or the previous episode?
That was in this episode.
Okay. Because I was thinking, what was the plot of the rest of the episode? And I'm like, oh, okay, it was that. Well, basically what I just said. Then Matthew collapses as a cliffhanger.
Yeah. So we get a cliffhanger, but we got probably the weakest episode since maybe the first one. And yeah, I understand. How can I put it? It's obvious that that the setup is for Anne and Gilbert or whatever his name was to get together. But they didn't have to make it this obvious, and how old is this? Of course, this probably came way before anything that we've seen. So, yeah, I guess
the book was published the first book was published in 1908.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. It's too bad that I didn't ever read this first before seeing this. So, yeah. I wonder if this had been on one of our summer reading lists that I never read. Like, okay, so here's what they would do. You'd have to quote unquote read 3 books during the summer. And then whenever you came back to school in the fall, you'd have to take a test on them. But what I did is I figured, okay, so on these tests, they'd add 100 to your score and divide it by 2. So the lowest score you could possibly get is a 50. So what I would do is just guess on. I never read anything, not a bit. I did not. I would just pick the ones that had the most bonus points. So I picked War and Peace. War and Peace gave me 30 bonus points. So I'm like, okay, all I have to do is make some educated guesses on the quiz, and I'll have enough points that I'll pass. And I did this like my entire high school career. And that was like the only thing that stopped me from getting 100s in every class was the fact that I blew so many points by just guessing on these quizzes instead of actually reading the books. So, yeah, outside reading, never did it. Never put any effort into it at all. And I still got A's, so that's all that matters. I still got the A. I got a scholarship. I got it. So
War and Peace. I never read that one. I think I read like one.
Neither did I.
I read the first page and then got bored and stopped. But
that's more than me. That's more than I read.
I'll always remember the first 2 words though, because there's this one really funny Peanuts story where Snoopy decides to read War and Peace 1 word per day. So I just remembered that part. By the way, the first one is the first word is well, and the second word is prince. Yeah. Speaking of lengthy books, I thought it was funny when it was mentioned that Anne was reading Ben-Hur in school instead of Canadian history. And I'm thinking, you're reading Ben-Hur? Which actually, this book takes place, I think, in the 1880s. So that was actually like the decade the book came out. Actually,
so that was like brand new stuff at the time, I guess.
Yeah, would have been at that point. I wonder how many people even know it was a book, and they just like know of it as like the movie.
Yeah, that's all I knew it is.
Yeah. Anyway, as to the episode itself, I was fine with the stuff, even if it is weird that like Anne is still angry about him for it. But I guess you can say, well, she's young and kind of dumb, but still felt a little strained. My question though, because they have the plot, because there's rumors that the teacher is leaving, and then they ask her, and she said, well, I was going to, but changed my mind. And I'm thinking, okay, there's that, but why was this plot here at all if it was just going to be them asking? She's like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I I do know that this is a fairly compressed adaptation of the book. They had to like kind of skip through past some stuff or shorten some things. So maybe there was more emphasis on this part done in the book that made and it like made a bit more sense to include it there. But I just kind of think if that's the case and they're shortening it enough that it really is just like she's leaving, no, she's not. It suddenly makes me think, well, maybe you should have just cut this subplot out entirely. Is my thought on that, and then maybe use this time for something else that you took out. Okay. Yep, and that was it for this episode. The only thing about this series is I know at least some of the stuff that happens later, and man, I want to get to that stuff. That stuff sounds interesting. Okay. So, yep, we got that. Then we got Kowloon Generic Romance Episode 7.
Okay, well, your guess is as good as mine as to what's actually going on in this. Now, if you'll recall, whenever we started watching this, I was like a huge fan of this show. And since episode 5 or so, every episode has been getting worse and worse. And this episode is all about Yao Mei trying to figure out her past. And she is trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. And I'm trying to figure out what's real and what isn't about this show. And yeah, I'm kind of stumped. So maybe you have a better idea of what was going on here than I did or what, but this was not too good.
Well, actually, I like this more than the previous episode. Because, well, so the previous episode focused so heavily on those two guys. There's like the split tongue guy who says that he's like got both that who's intersex, part male, part female. And then there's the other guy whose name I can't remember, who's into him apparently. And I just don't really care. Well, I guess like I just always call I'm just always referring to him as
snake tongue.
No, well, that's weird. I was always calling him split tongue guy, but except for some reason I forgot what it was. I just call him split tongue guy. Like, like remember Yomushi Pedal where I referred to that one character as scary face guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so he was okay, but his sort of relationship with the other guy, I just don't have interest in because that other guy, I don't even remember his name. What's is he? He's just, I don't know. And it's just taking away stuff from the actually more important characters. The good news is that in the second half, it does focus more on the characters we kind of care about. And, Split Tongue guy is involved, but again, he's at least involved with the characters that I'm more interested in. And to answer your question of what's real and what's not, well, we actually don't know that exactly ourselves. We just know that apparently people outside of the city don't see the city or some of the people in it. So we know. So Kujirai apparently isn't seen by that person who delivered the pizza from out of town. And it's said that maybe she can't actually leave. It wasn't clear whether she couldn't leave or whether she might disappear if she did. So we at least get a little development on the mystery front in regards to that. So that was better. But yeah, the other stuff was just involving characters I'm not that interested in. But more of this episode than the last one was focused on characters I do have more of an investment in, Kujirai or Yao Mei. And so that made it better than the previous one for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is Kowloon Generic Romance. It's not been as good as it was when it started up. And it's not like droppable. I don't mean it like that, but it's just hasn't been as good as it was at the beginning whenever I was like really into it. I think they're trying too many mysteries at once, and I yeah, don't really have much good to say about this episode. It's just too confusing for me. And plus it's supposed to be a romance, isn't it? Like what happened to the romance in this show? I was enjoying that romance. Like that was the thing that hooked me in the first episode. I'm like, okay, this is a pretty good romantic story. So I'm I'm kind of into this thing, and I hung on for a while, and now it's just kind of forgotten about. So yeah, not a great episode.
Well, yeah, we'll see where we go. I mean, there's only 6 episodes left of the series, so we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I'm just hoping that we'll move more back to the plots and characters I have more interest in, rather than some other characters seem only kind of tangentially related to them. Like it, yeah. Okay, so then we'll have Witch Watch episode 7.
Okay, so in the first half of this episode, uh, uh, great. I'm stuck on what happens
That
in this
that was the one where they
second.
the first was when they tried to do the YouTube channel.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was thinking the second part. Okay, so the first part, yeah, they try to make their own YouTube. Nico and the one guy try to make a YouTube thing, and Maury's like, well, we need some help. So they bring in the Who guy, and the Who guy, uh, who, who, the Who guy, um, he teaches them how to do a YouTube thing, and then they go crazy with YouTube, and some humor ensues. But then the second part I thought was a lot funnier was where this one girl, she needed help in doing a tea ceremony, and she couldn't do it. But Maury could do it. So what Nico did was cast a spell that made everything that Maury did, then her body would do. But unfortunately, of course, since they've got an audience there with Maury, uh, he starts doing things he shouldn't do or saying things he shouldn't say, and the entire thing ends up as a complete bust until something at the end uh, makes her grandmother get over it. And yeah, that's not a very good that's not a very good explanation of the episode, but I really liked that second half of the episode. I thought it was really funny, and yeah, that's all I got.
I actually had the opposite reaction. I thought the first half was hilarious, and the second half was, well, it was funny, but it wasn't as funny. I just love them trying and failing to make a popular YouTube channel, and then actually doing some stuff and ending up going viral, but then immediately losing interest and quitting.
Mm.
That whole thing was really funny. But the second one was kind of funny also. Although this is one of those series where you kind of start wondering, has been using spells to solve problems ever actually worked? Like, I feel like the only time that magic has actually helped out rather than comically backfiring is when they need to use it to like deal with some other magic.
Well, the poop thing kind of worked out. It didn't work out the way it was supposed to, but it kind of did help him out.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah,
one case, I guess.
yeah,
Okay. So right.
yep.
And then that's it. That's all of them.
Mm.
We didn't miss anything, did we? No, we didn't miss anything. We did not watch My Hero Academia Vigilantes this week. Maybe next week.
Yeah,
It's
maybe next week.
it's in an odd position where where we're kind of watching it, but not officially.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Well, there's no Toonami series for us to discuss other than what was the rerun this time? Was it just Lazarus? Yeah, it was Lazarus.
Yeah. Well, they're airing the sub now. They decided to
Yeah.
start airing the sub for some reason.
So yeah. So the best one of these series we watched this week. Well, I think it was for me, Witch Watch.
Yeah, it was Witch Watch. Whichever way you slice the episode in half, it still was the best one. And I've kind of what's the best way to describe it? I'm trying to come up with a sports term to describe it, but I'm only coming up with throwing in the towel. It would be the opposite of throwing in the towel. It would be declaring a winner. I declare at this point, Witch Watch has won the last 3 weeks, and it's won 4 of the last 6 weeks, and it's won 5 of the last 9 weeks. So I get the feeling that Witch Watch is my winner for this year's bracket. So, yeah, I think we can wave the checker flag. Maybe call it a thing. I think it's the winner. So there you have it. And I never thought Witch Watch was going to win this thing. Never. So. If this isn't like not even 3 weeks ago did I think Witch Watch would win. I'm like, okay, Kowloon and Aunt Shirley are going to win, but no, I got to go Witch Watch.
Yeah, I'm glad we ended up going on with it. Yeah. I think I read some of the manga originally, but kind of lost a bit of interest early on. I think the anime format helps because the anime like will be doing like 2 or 3. So a lot of the stories, as you might notice just by watching this, are just kind of like standalone, like fun little stories with the characters. Like they go like the first one, they try a YouTube channel, some wacky shenanigans happen, and that's the end. In this one, they have to try to do the whole tea ceremony thing. Some wacky shenanigans happen, and that's the end. And maybe some of these will be referred to in later ones. But what I mean is the series is mostly kind of more episodic comedy with some bits of continuity. And when you are doing 2 or 3 of them per episode, that means that, if maybe one of them is kind of weaker, you can like lean into the other one that you like more. Whereas in manga form, if you get like a kind of bad week, well, then that's it for that week. Whereas the anime lets you have more and you can like overlook a weaker plot more easily.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I think that is all of it for this in terms of the series that we were covering. So anything else to talk about?
Well, I'm still watching Bleach. Fortunately for me, I had to bring my laptop for the conference I was speaking at, so it was football conference, not a anime convention. So, no anime stuff to talk about, but So I was able to keep up with Bleach every single day. I think there was one day where I didn't do one, but then I did two the next day, so it kind of evened out. Basically, we're at the point in the Rancor Waco Mundo where reinforcements show up. The cavalry comes in, and so Kenpachi saves Ichigo, Byakuya saves Rukia, Mayuri shows up in Renji and Uryu's battle, and Renji and Uryu are just like there to provide battle commentary. And Hanataro shows up. He comes in just to provide some battle commentary of Ichigo, or not Ichigo, Byakuya, and the opponent who's an Espada, but I just never remembered what his name was. I forget what his name was. I wrote it in one of my posts, and I instantly forgot it the next day.
Which character are you talking about?
The one Byakuya fights.
Oh, him? Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember either. He's honestly he's like probably the most forgettable of them. I feel can't barely even remember his fight. The only thing I remember about it is the way Byakuya beats him, which was pretty cool.
Mm.
Where, if I remember correctly, what happens is because the guy's power is he's able to like take control of things or whatever. So Byakuya is just like, well, yeah, you've got like, I don't know, like whatever, 12 eyes and control things. So are you going to be able to beat, like, are you able to, but you're not going to be able to control like, you know, all like 1,000 of these Senbon Zakuras I'm going to be sending at you. And the guy just gets pierced by all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty cool battle. Even though I don't remember his name. But I really enjoy the Mayuri one. Even though I hate Mayuri, I mean, hate the guy with a passion. But man, that was just the most hilarious way to beat the guy. It's like it's gonna take centuries for you to hear what I'm about to tell you. And so so he like kills the guy in super slow motion. So it's going to take hundreds of years for him to finally die. So Saizo Aporo to die. So that was hilarious the way he killed him. Renji and Uryu are just kind of there to provide commentary. They're all broken bones all over. Reggie tore his Achilles, I guess, which means he's out for the year. And let's see, wasn't there? Oh yeah, and then there's Unohana and her lieutenants show up for the sole purpose of killing Chad and his opponent, and that's pretty much it. That's like the only thing they even do, and then they help out Rukia too, but yeah, they just kind of showed up. Oh, and Nell revealed her true self, and then in the middle of the battle got turned back to a pumpkin, and you know, lost the glass slipper and everything, and Orihime is just like, see, Orihime's there just to provide battle commentary, like, watch out, Nell. And it's like, yeah, I get the feeling he's going to watch out and not want to get killed by whatever is coming at her. I don't think you needed to say watch out to her, but whatever. It's been pretty good. It hasn't been as bad as I remembered it. It's actually been pretty good. So, but we still have, well, what, like over 100 episodes before they finally take down Eisen. So this is going to be going on for a while.
Oh yeah, the whole Eisen fight. That was a
Yeah.
long one. That was. Let me just They didn't. How long was it in chapters? Because once they actually when they're actually like going up against Eisen, it's the chapters start just being called yeah, they're just called Deicide. So like one is Deicide, and the next chapter is Deicide 2, then Deicide 3, then Deicide 4. It goes on like that. Do you want to know how many how we end up with 23 of them just called that,
Wow.
except a few do have a subtitle. So you have like Deicide 8, End of the Chrysalis Age. Deicide 18, The End, even though there's still like 5 more Deicide chapters. Oh, Deicide 21, Transcendent God Rock. Bleach chapter titles. Oh boy.
What was that? Love me or something.
No, that was from ReZero.
But it would pass as a Bleach title, wouldn't it?
It would, honestly. That was hang on, now I need to find how many loves were there. Yeah, it was just love you. That's so 6 loves. And then I think not an episode, but a chapter of like the book had even more loves, except it ended with me. So
Mm-hmm. What was the worst title of a Bleach episode? I think there was like a poll on it and a certain title won. I forget what it was called.
well, the problem with are you talking Bleach like episodes or chapters? Because the episodes up until
Chapters.
Okay, yeah, because up until Thousand Year Blood War, they mostly were just like like the sort of things you'll see in One Piece, where it just describes what happened in the episode. Yeah, let me. That's an interesting question. Let me see. Like worst Bleach chapter titles. Let me see if I find that. I don't see any searching on Google. I don't see a poll for like worst, other than someone asking on Reddit like what's with the chapter titles with how weird they are. Maybe there's one for like best memorable Bleach chapter titles. Yeah, you can find some people talking about their favorites. I always have to wonder if these crazy chapter titles, like, are they
Why
like
me?
that?
Oh, there! I found it. Why me sad? Why
Complete
me
with,
sad?
yes, and it's spelled with a period rather than a question mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to know, are these titles so crazy because the author Tite Kubo just doesn't know English well enough to make them sound right, or is he just like doing this on purpose? He knows these are crazy titles, and
yeah, he's just trolling.
Okay. No, I double checked. I apologize. Why Me Sad does not have a period at the end, but it does not have a question mark either. I think I was getting mixed up with the band Fun, which is spelled FUN with a period at the end. Yeah, it was just Why Me Sad, no question mark or punctuation at the end. Yeah, a lot of these, Bleach chapter titles, just looking at them sometimes, some of them are just so funny. I'm glad that for Thousand Year Blood War, they actually kept the titles. Like they named the episode after the chapter titles. So while you do, so you don't get like every chapter title, obviously, but you get, because they are like putting like 5 chapters into each episode, but you get some of them in there. Although they unfortunately cut out what was one of my favorite ones for the masked masculine fight. the they chose Rages at Ringside for the episode title, but which was one of the chapter titles for the fight with him. But my favorite was just the one called Superstar Never Die. Okay. So right, you were talking about the Bleach reviews. Where can people read those?
TommyAPhillips.com and click on Anime Bowl 2. Still haven't made a URL for it yet. Maybe never will, but I might at some point. We'll see.
Yeah. And I meant to comment on what you were talking about in the episodes. Yeah, Mayuri's beating of Cesaro Paro or whatever his name, however you say his name. That was a pretty darkly humorous one with how malicious and brutal it was. It is good that, you know, as sadistic as Mayuri is, at least it was directed at, you know, a particularly sadistic member of the Espada. So
yeah, he is pretty much Mayuri if he was in a wrong car.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we got all of that. I don't think there's too much else I wanted to say about anything. I guess next week we'll just be back for all of these series. Maybe My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is still in this sort of kind of category of us watching. So yeah, we got in that, and we'll be back with the Toonami stuff. We've got Daima, Bleach, Blue Exorcist, One Piece, and just that. We won't be getting into Dawn to Dawn until the week after that.
Yeah.
All right. Was there anything else that I wanted to mention here? No, I think that's all of them. So, well, we did end up talking for a while despite the shortness of it. Yeah, I don't have anything too interesting to talk about on my end. I mean, I guess I could talk about some of the Spanish telenovelas I've been watching to try to improve my Spanish skills, but I don't think people would be particularly interested in it because, well, you're not watching them, so this would just be me talking about a bunch of stuff you don't know about, and the listeners probably aren't following any of these either, so I'd just be talking about, you know, stuff that no one's really cares about. So, yeah. Ugh. So I guess that will be the end of all of that. So, yep, once again, we'll see you all next week. I don't think there's anything else to say. So with all that said, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Toonami, The Rising Sun, Saturday from 9 to noon. Listen up. Here's your wake-up call.
It's now or never.
3 hours of Toonami programming.
We're taking control.
And it's not even a school day. Toonami, The Rising Sun, Saturday from 9 to noon.
Or may it be saved.
A day which will live in infamy.
Magnificent.